My wife asked for a rustic bathroom cabinet, which means I need to take a trip to my lumber yard and pick out an exotic wood species. Made sure to pick a pallet with boards wide enough for the project to avoid having to do any glue ups. Wanted to knock this one out quick. I found with these projects it's easier for me just to cut the ends of the boards off to save me from having to deal with pulling the nails out. I get a lot of splitting and cracked boards if I don't do this. After finishing the second cut, we can go ahead and start prying out all the middle section of nails to free the boards. Once I get all those knocked out, I go ahead and square up the edges. I'm just showing the one side here. I'm going to mark for the bottoms and tops. Since these aren't going to be within view, I go ahead and just do a regular butt joint. I'm not going to wrap these in or anything. Didn't want this to be a quick, kind of rustic project, so I just cut them to the length of the actual cabinet, and I'll attach the screws and glue once we get to that point. I'm going to go ahead and joint the edges of the back to make sure we have good solid glue joints for these. I don't expect a lot of strength to come, but every little bit helps. And apparently I can't run the air conditioner, the air filter, and the dust collection unit at the same time without blowing the circuit, so I went ahead and turned off the AC. I'm going to go ahead and measure and mark for my dados. I am going to go ahead and dado for the shelves to get a little bit of strength out of this. And what I've done is I've taken the overall length, dividing it by 3, so that I can get my 2 equal spaced shelves. This is a trick my grandpa taught me. I'm not sure how many people do this, or if you measure and do all that specifically. I like the simplicity of this, and it makes sure you have a good fit every time. I just lay the blades on the table and stack up the spacers until it meets flush with the edge of the board. Turns out this wasn't all that important to get that fit perfect, because all these boards are a little different, have a small amount of difference in them, so some of these cuts ended up a little oversized. But I guess that adds to the rustic appeal. Make sure we have square sides, and then I'm going to take a measurement from the dado to the back of the other dado to get the proper width of my shelves. Now I'm just going to rip these to the proper depth so that they sit flush with the front of the cabinet. And everything sits flush. I did my fit up and everything looks like it's going to fit quite nicely. Now I'm just marking all the ends and edges so that once I'm finished with sanding all of this, I know how to put it all back together. I sanded up to 220 for this project, but I didn't start with my normal 80 grit round. I wanted to keep some of the deep gouges and some of the color in the crevices. So I started at 120, then went to 220, being careful not to take too much of the character out of these boards. Using regular Type on 1 glue, I go ahead and join or glue all the edges and put it together. No nails or anything at this point, just going to use clamps and glue, and then the 3 screws in the top and bottom sides each. You guys let me know on these videos. I'm just starting out, and if you've got any suggestions as far as video formats, I'm certainly open. If you like this format, let me know. If not, let me know. Give me suggestions. I'm willing to learn, willing to grow here. Just trying to share some of my projects and hopefully share some best practices so we can all get a little better and learn and be inspired.
Recording?
Alright, all the clamps are off, the glue is dry, and it's time to apply some finish. We're rolling with some polycrylic just for a nice kind of flat sheen. I don't want any real finished look, and this dries pretty clear and doesn't really warm up the project. Make sure to hit all the corners first, then I go back and fill in the rest. Just be careful when you're outdoors, make sure you're not in an area where a lot of dust or anything is going to blow up if you're working on a nicer piece. And I tried to keep a finger on there because the wind kept trying to blow this over. I've gotten, it's the next day now, finish is dried. Just going to go ahead and mark roughly where I want this to be. And I'm going to put this in place. I had kind of a target distance. I wanted to make sure I was about there. And I was within about 1/4 of an inch, so that works for me. I'll go ahead and mark the end so I have a place, a reference when I go to install this permanently. And yep, my stud finder is out of batteries. Everyone knows the look test is the best for 9-volt. I'm going to go ahead and mark my studs here. And the studs happen to be just about a 1/2 inch off from center of the toilet. I figured it was better to go ahead and attach on 2 studs and have it be a little off center than it was to have it be perfectly centered and just connected to 1 stud. I'm going to go ahead and start my screws. I put this at the top here and then realized when I went to do the second one that if I put it closer to the shelf, it would hide the screws from a normal standing person's vision. So I pulled the other one out, put it back down. Good thing this is a rustic cabinet because that hole just adds character. And everyone's favorite adjustment technique, just smack it around a bit. And you can see from that first one screwing into the stud, it made it quite sturdy. I was prepared to put 4 screws in, but it looked like 2 was going to hold it up quite nicely. Now I can put all my tools in place, and next time I'm using the restroom, I have a nice place to store them.